Welcome to another episode of the podcast today, and we have Jordan Nelson of Nelson Track Solutions. And you have just recently moved to Dubai, Jordan. First of all, welcome to Dubai and welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. 3 weeks in now, just about.
3 weeks in, a newbie.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off, we are going to get back to that, but I'd like to start off with a wee bit about small Jordan, baby Jordan, in terms of...
No, so baby now. Aye, a bit bigger. So I essentially grew up in a wee tiny village called Comores, and there's about 3,000 people in it, right next to Kilmarnock, half an hour for Glasgow. So grew up there, went to the primary school there, went to secondary at Stuarton, then went to college and then Glasgow University latterly. It was a nice wee village to grow up in. The people were nice and stuff, but again, it's like a small mindset. You're stuck there, and now I can't believe years later I'm sitting in Dubai working. So it's quite cool, I have to say.
So what was it? What did you actually do when you went to college? How did that start?
So after school, in fact, it's quite funny. I was thinking about this earlier on, so I thought these are the questions coming. So when I went to primary school, I was very competitive. I remember there's a boy called Robert Lind. God, I've not seen or smoked him, must be about 15 years, but he was very clever and I always wanted to beat him in the primary school and stuff like that. And then you go to secondary, then you're not really caring as much then. I wanted to be a football player. That didn't happen. And then I went to college, so I did biomedical science, did that for 2 years, and I loved that. I really enjoyed that. Like the college side, it was like you're treated more like an adult than a child when you were at school.
Yep.
So then I did that, and then I went to University of Glasgow, and I did chemistry and physics there, but that was tough. Going from college to uni, it was a mega jump. I really didn't expect how hard it was going to be. So 2 years I did that, and then I dropped it, and then into the business world. Amazing.
Did you always know that you were going to start a business or want to become successful?
No. I think... I don't want to say exactly what age because I don't want the girl to know who it was. So what happened to me was, and I've heard a few people speak about this in podcasts, was I broke up with a girl, and then I tried to go back with her and she didn't want me anymore. And it gave me this insane drive to try and go, I'm going to prove you wrong one day. So that was what happened. I don't want to say I wasn't giving too much credit.
Yep.
But that's what happened to me. Actually, I had a really bad breakup with a relationship, and that girl didn't want me back, and then I had this crazy drive came out of nowhere. So I'm in early 20s, but before that I was just a normal guy going to college and didn't know what I wanted to really be. I loved science, but I was like, in fact, going back to a conversation I had with one of the PhD lecturers at Glasgow Uni, I remember him saying to me, a chemistry class, he said, well, what do you want to do, Jordan? I says, that's a good question. And he goes, look, you could earn 40 grand a year or something, he was saying, as a PhD lecturer. I'm like, how long does it take to do that? He goes, it's like 7 years. And I'm like, that's ages. And then at that point as well, I'm like, is that a lot of money or is it no? I didn't have anything back then anyway. So what happened to me was it was a breakup, and that gave me my drive. That
drive and determination just to be better and become successful.
To prove somebody wrong. That was what it was. Which is really weird.
Absolutely brilliant. So what was the kind of first steps then? Because I've spoke to so many people and they've all got their different stories about, you know, maybe it was somebody online that was an inspiration, maybe it was a book or a podcast or an event that they went to. Can you remember in the early days, what was the kind of early inspiration?
Do you know what? There's probably quite a few things. I remember one guy once let me in his Ferrari years ago.
Wow.
So I was at a shisha bar with one of my mates. I must have been like 18 or something at the time. And me and him were walking at the shisha bar, and it ended up, I was like, damn, look at that mall, that's a cracker. He's like, as I built it, and then the next thing it opened up, like the wee beep went, I'm like, what the hell's that? So it turns out there's a guy behind me, and he goes, do you want to jump in and take a spin? No, he was driving, no me. I goes, oh, definitely. So I jumped in, and then I was like, I says, what is it you actually do? He goes, I do Forex trading. This was a long time ago now. So I was like, well, that's amazing. And latterly, I heard that guy, a Punto, ran into that car and wrecked it. It was a 480 Ferrari. It was a beauty. So point being was that guy let me in, and then I was like, well, I want one of these. So that was one thing. And also my family are all business orientated. So my grandfather, he started a roofing company years ago.
Right.
My mum worked for him, and she's got a roofing company. I think she's the only woman roofer in Scotland as far as I know.
Amazing.
So there was that. So I had that kind of, and I remember getting at my grand years ago, and there was all these invoices everywhere. She was doing all the typewriting for my papa, his estimates and stuff. So I was always in and around folk that had a business, essentially, my family.
Yep.
And then, as I say, latterly, that breakup happened, and then I went to university, and then I met somebody for the railway. So what happened was, for how I got into the railway, was a guy I met playing poker. It was like a wee £10 game in Morecambe, I'll forget it. And I knew he did well in the railway. And my summer was coming up where I didn't have anything to do as such, with the uni being finished. And he says, look, I could probably get you in. And I was like, how much is it? He's like, it's a couple of grand to do your tickets. I says, I don't have that. I said, I was doing like Chinese and Indian deliveries for 50 quid a night. So, and my car at that time was a wee Corsa, right? It's so funny because it was £2,000, but the insurance was £2,500. The mum and dad paid for the motor. They said, you need to pay for the insurance. And I was like, it was like 200 quid a month, and I didn't have much in. So I got into the railway through a game of poker. Strangely.
Amazing.
Aye.
So what was the kind of early stages of business like? Was it what you thought it was going to be?
Well, then, I wouldn't even say it was a business. You're a subcontractor.
Yeah.
It was QTS I worked for initially, and I really enjoyed it. But my first job was a rope access technician.
Okay.
And I was terrible at it. I was absolutely terrible. Like Jordan, you stay off the ropes. You just put the trees through the chipper hang and pick up the twigs. So I was that guy. It was like going and fetching the coffees. But I liked it. It was a good workout. It was like you're doing. It was a really good solid workout. And do you know what? It was good money. I was getting £150 a shift. Couldn't believe it.
Yep.
So at that point, as I said, I was doing Chinese and Indian deliveries whilst I was at uni. So if we gone for 50 quid a shift to 150, I was like, well, I'm loaded.
Yep.
So it was great.
I've made it.
Aye. So essentially, I wasn't really a business owner then. I was just a subcontractor for, it must have been about, maybe say, what are we now? Maybe 6 years or so.
Okay.
And then I wouldn't be sitting here today if one of my gaffers wasn't, if he was a good guy, I wouldn't be sitting here. But he wasn't a good guy. He wasn't very good. He wasn't very nice to me for a few different reasons. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this myself. And I just jumped in. And that was it.
Amazing. So what was these kind of traits and things like that that you didn't like or made you not go on?
That's got me thinking now, going back in time. So he was a really bad gambler.
Right, okay.
So he was making good money at the time, a lot more than and I was actually having to give him a loaner money.
Right, okay.
Right, so listen, we help our pals out and you get him a loan. And he was very good to me. I don't want to say too many bad things because, again, he taught me a lot of good stuff as well. So, but his problem, he just had the gambling stuff. If he never had that, he'd be great. And he had a really good drive, and he was able to, he got that business going. He wasn't an owner in it, but he really got it pushed forward and got them all to work. But his traits was the gambling one that just ruined him as a person. I think latterly it's kind of ruined him, but he wasn't a bad guy inside, just bad circumstances, and it's a disease, like alcohol or drugs. So kind of felt sorry for him a bit, but that, for him being so nice to me and things. So what happened was he wouldn't give me my money back, and he was saying, Jordan, you need to get the purchase orders in. I'm like, that's nothing to do with your personal things that's going on. So that was that. And then I thought, bugger this, I'm just going to do it myself.
Yep.
And jumped right in.
Aye. So at this point, because I think it's so easy to look at you. I mean, obviously you've done exceptionally well, and you'll be an inspiration for a lot of guys who want to start their own business. But I think it's so important to speak about that journey, because it really doesn't come easy, and people look at you and see that, you've moved to Dubai, you've had a successful life back in the UK, you drive a nice car, nice home and things like that. And I don't know about you, but I've heard this quite a lot through the years when people say, oh, it's okay for you, it's all right for you. And you're thinking, well, not really, because it takes a lot more. Yep. So was there hardships? Was there things that kind of slapped you in the face that you thought, I was not expecting this?
Oh my God, there was so many things, and I didn't expect how hard it actually is, even still to today. So the first year of my business, one of my clients, it was like 90% of my turnover. So after year one, they decided not to take a contract on, the one I was doing, and my business was going like this, and then it collapsed.
Yep.
So at that point in time, I had 2 office staff, and I had quite a lot of guys out in the park, but I had to let them go because I couldn't afford to keep them going. It's just part of business. But I kept them long enough so that they found jobs, so they weren't sitting with any money. I thankfully managed to do that. So that was really tough, because that kind of taught me a lot of different things where don't have all that concentration in one client. I think you've been there as well with that. So as I said, 90% of my business was with them, and then they disappeared through no fault of their own. So that was tough. I better be careful what I say about this one. So I've currently got a fraud investigation going on in the UK
Right.
with somebody that was very, very, very close to me, like a
Right.
brother. And that was really tough because at the time there was embezzlement going on in the business.
Wow.
And I can say that because I've got the evidence there to say it.
Somebody that you trusted.
Yeah, knew the person for 30 years. So that was tough because at the same time, even keeps me in goosebumps talking about it, my mum fell off a roof and broke both her legs. So I was helping her at that time, and I wasn't in the business. I wasn't caring about it. I wasn't no caring about the business. It's like, can you look after this?
Yeah.
Whilst I've got other priorities. So there was that. One of my old friends died. I was just about to board a flight, and I got a phone call. This is 2024. A boy I was best friends with, so I was about 18 to 28. I mean, we travelled the world. We travelled America together. Really nice guy. He died in the Philippines all of a sudden. So that all happened within the 1 year. I was going through a bad separation with an ex-partner, and it was all going at once. And then for that said person to do what he did to me at the same time that was really tough. So it's like you've got a business to run, but then you've got these things in personal life, but you still have to show up every day
Yeah.
for your business because folk are relying on you.
Totally. That's the thing, isn't it? It's very different when you've got a business, when things happen to like your mum, like you said, and
Yeah.
you know, what happened to your friends. It's like you don't have that luxury to fall back on
Yeah.
a job role where you can say, I need some time. You know,
Definitely.
you're constantly thinking about your business because
That's
it's your livelihood. And I think that's what a lot of people don't see, that constant responsibility is there 24/7.
Definitely, Angela. And like, you've had businesses for years, and it's like it doesn't turn off.
Yeah.
It's like you could have all these problems going on at home, but you have to make sure that business is still running.
Yeah.
You have to. So it's difficult. I think with a business, it's like you say there, you can go in sick when you work for somebody,
Yeah.
but you can't go in sick when you've got a business. Really, it's unless you've got a big business and there's other directors in there. But when you've got a smaller company, you are the only director. You are the one
Exactly.
directing that business, and you've got to financially keep it going and stuff like that. So you have to really balance it. Like you've got to look after the business and everything else you've got, but that is very tough.
Definitely. And with the situation that happened, with the situation in your business, what kind of impact did that have on you from a personal perspective? Did you question yourself? Did you question him? What was that process?
So what happened was the reason we found out about it wasn't even me that recognised the problem. My accountant says, Jordan, there's something all right with the cash flow. Even at that point, I didn't think there was any kind of wrongdoings or maybe some kind of error in the system somewhere in the account software. But
So it wasn't your immediate thought that
No.
something untoward was going on at this
I
point?
would never
Right.
have thought this person had done this and it literally lead to this. But essentially, there was more than one thing he was doing
Okay.
to manipulate the system for his own financial gain. And there was probably about 5 different things. So it was calculated. It wasn't just a mistake. The thing is, for me, like with all my friends, and I've lost friends out of principle or loaned them money and not getting it back. I'm a very principle-driven person. And if you need help, ask me and I will help. Probably too nice to a certain extent, but it's just in my nature. It's who I am. It's my morals, my values. I've had a good family and they've brought me up well. But for that, for somebody to stab you in the back like that, it was not just an employee. It was he was like a family member to me, and I've brought him with me on the journey, like to help him have a better life. So when somebody does that to you, mentally, I've got over it to an extent. The first year, it was tough. Couldn't stop thinking about it.
Consumes you almost.
It does, it does. It's hard. But you get, I don't know if you get over it, you just go on with it, I'd probably say.
You learn to manage it almost.
Yeah.
You learn to kind of deal with it as time goes on. But
Definitely.
it's a shock as well, isn't it? Because
It is.
it's the last thing that you expect.
It is. It's like you just, when you've brought somebody into your business, it's and you've gave them access to a lot of things that you wouldn't give the normal person access to, for them to manipulate that. Then you go, fuck, I've went, Joel, how can you trust them again? And my answer to that is that, especially if you're trying to grow a business, you have to trust
Yeah.
until somebody does you wrong. But I was probably, you try and not be as naive
Yeah, exactly.
The gnawing again.
That was my next question. Do you feel that it's changed how you do business now, coming through that?
I think it's probably better in a sense, because you put checks and balances in place, and it's not that MD's trying to wrongdo you, it's just that you want to make sure that you're not giving somebody an opportunity to as well. You know, because I think that if an opportunity is there, somebody could be desperate, which this person might well have been.
Yeah.
And they might not actually be a mad person, but they're in a desperate position to, could be gambling, it could be alcoholism, drugs, it could be these things, so they will take advantage of that situation. But if they never were able to take advantage, it might not have happened.
Yep.
So I've learned that put the checks and balances in place, and just that will hopefully mitigate against it even happening.
Absolutely. It's a tough one, that. And, you know, even besides that, that's an extreme circumstance that I hope not many people have to go through. But besides that, just with the general run of the business, there's this pressure that you and I have spoke separately about, where, you know, you're getting to the month end when you're growing your business and thinking, right, how am I making payroll this month, and how am I paying the bills? And, you know, it's Friday at 3:00 and it's like, this is not adding up. And you're waiting in these text messages to say, right, you know, when am I getting paid? And it's that pressure, and that's just growing pains. And I don't know how you felt, but I think for me personally, there was a lot of times where I second guessed myself and I thought, am I doing this right? Am I getting this right? Should I not be ahead of the game now? Or should I not be at the stage where that consistency and the cash flow is just building every month rather than up and down and up and down? And I think the more business owners you speak to, that conversation that I've had with you there about the cash flow, I've spoke to about 10, 12 multi-millionaires, and they said to me that they were in that situation for years and years, because you're growing, you're evolving, you're reinvesting money back into the company. Was that something that you experienced as well? Before
you said that at the end there, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, if you're a business that's sitting still, then the cash flow could be all right. But if you're wanting to constantly expand, take more staff on, do bigger projects, you're then the cash flow, the reserves are lowering because you're trying to build. So I think I remember Mum saying this to me, Jordan, if the money was all sitting in the bank, then it wouldn't be a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you're then trying to capitalise on the funds you've got to make more money with it.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is in business. But for me personally, with the cash flow, there's times exactly the same as you. Like, oh my God, I need 40 grand tomorrow because the wages are coming in. What am I going to do here? And something I'm about to put to bed today is, I've had so many folk come out to me in the track and going, oh, I heard it was Marvin, or not to me personally actually, right? I know said it to me personally, but they've said to friends and that in the track, it was mummy and daddy's money for Jordan, right? And it makes me laugh, it really does, because I'll be honest how it started. So I went to go and get a loan for the bank, and bear in mind I was a client relationship manager, that was my last job in the railway. It was a good paying job, it was decent, but it's hard to, I had a nice car and that, and you're spending money, right? So didn't have a lot of capital at that point. I think maybe I had 20 grand to my name or something like that, right? I had to try and sell things, clothes and watches. I had to try and get the money together to get this off the ground because it was expensive.
Yep.
So I needed a lot more than what I had. So I went to the bank. They wouldn't give me a loan because I just a new business. So, and it's funny because I think we were talking this as well. I've never had a business plan. I've never wrote a business plan. The bank probably asked, what the hell is a business plan? No. So even to this day, I've had different businesses, never had a business plan. So you don't actually need one.
Yep.
So what happened was, went to the bank, they wouldn't give me a loan. So lately after that, my mum goes, look, I'll remortgage your house. God, I even talking about it, it's quite emotional. So what happened was, she says, look, I'll pull 100k out the house to help you go.
Wow.
I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put all that in the line. My mum, everything she built. So at that time, she'd paid off her mortgage, so it was everything was in the house gang. So just shows you what your mum can do for you, you know. And I've got a great relationship with my mum back home. So
she obviously had a lot of belief in you then.
Aye, she must have somehow, but is that a mother's instinct? I don't know.
I think that's actually worse pressure. I don't think that's an advantage.
You
managing to get that off your mum, I think that's pressure because there's so much emotion tied to it.
Definitely.
As well as the money to pay back. I think when it's the bank, you can stay logical and you can make business decisions and say, right, well, I'll do this and I'll reinvest that. But I think that emotional pressure is on top of that.
I totally agree.
Quite a lot. So probably you weren't at an advantage.
Well, this is the thing. Thankfully, or no thankfully, but from a business standpoint, COVID came along.
Yep.
So there was bounce back loans come out,
Yeah.
and I managed to get 25k.
Right. Okay.
Right, so that was great. I was always didn't have to take my mum's mortgage, remortgage our home. So I get 25 grand for the bank.
Right.
But they'd actually, although they said no before, but everybody was getting the bounce back loans. So I got that 25k and I went, right, that'll get the cash flow, that'll keep the payment, the wages and that, and the guys. I'll tell you a funny story actually, right? So 2 months in, and there was one client, and I was constantly messaging the guy because I spoke to him prior about trying to help me and stuff like that. And he's like, I'll get you on board. And I swear to God, Angela, I was constantly, I actually titled one of the emails to him, The Pest. I says, what's going on there, lad? It was so funny because I was just constantly pestering him. I think I told you this last week actually, I was sitting having pizza in your house. I said, I read a Grant Cardone book, Sell or Be Sold. And I can't remember exactly what it was. I only go back and read it. But there was 3 parts of it about getting a sale.
Yeah.
And I said, I can't remember it for right now, but I went off what he said in the book and I put it into the emails
Yep.
and it worked.
You got it.
So I used to read books years ago. I don't do it as much now, but there is definitely books can help and give you different perspectives and ideas. So that got me my first client. And then the funny story was, so we're onboarded with this client, right? And he says, right, I'll give you this work and that. So I'm starting to tell guys, right, we're good to go. Come over to me for that company, starting to take guys away for other companies. And then my client says, right, we'll start this week. It was this certain weekend. I says, right, brilliant. Pulled the guys over, ready to go. Oh no, we'll need to wait. It was either another week or two. I'm like, oh my God, I've just pulled these guys over and the work's not there. So I had that 25 grand in the bank and there was no way I could have no paid these guys for coming over.
No.
So I think it was either 1 week or 2 weeks, can't remember now, but I paid them for sitting house and I says, use their own standby. Made up. They weren't in standby, there was no work there. And I think back now, it was quite mad, but if I had told them, what guys, oh no, the work isn't actually there, the confidence would have been gone straight away. So I had to come up with something. I was like, right, use their own standby and stuff like that. They were loving it, they were getting paid for sitting in the house.
Of course.
So that, they don't know this day. If any of them see that, they probably know who they are.
That's brilliant.
So it was a hard start, but I learned a lot of lessons at the beginning as well. Just things I've even had thought of latterly in business. Is just things you make mistakes on, and you just have to think on your feet a lot.
Was there not, I might be putting you in the spot now, but was there not a funny email story with you? Did you not email somebody and it went to the wrong person?
Aye. Why not talk about it now? Because the damage is done. The damage is done, sadly. No names or clients that, but yes, there was one that lost me 6 figures, mega 6 figures, right? So what happened was, with a client we're working for maybe a couple of years, and then they did something to me that I wasn't happy about. They sent one of my guys out to a site. We had a retainer of a certain amount of hours, regardless if they did the work or no. I'd negotiated this with them.
Yep.
They weren't a good company to keep to their word. So what happened was, sent the guy out, and he phoned me saying, Jordan, there's nobody here on this site. So I phoned the client. I says, look, there's nobody there. Oh no, it's a safety stand down day. I says, well, nobody told us. That's fair enough, just to let us know. So they didn't. So I put the invoice in still because my guy drove the site and everything else. No, we're not paying that. And I mean, we're talking buttons. It wasn't a lot of money. I says, look, guys, sent the guy out there. You know what I mean? You never told me there was a safety stand down day. So back and forth with emails. So what happened was somebody in my company and me, internal communications, are saying, I think it was like, this is like David versus Goliath. They were saying, because this company's like doing over 100 million a year and stuff like that, right? We're a wee company. And I says, it was something we said, it was, I don't want to say names. Like, I'm just going to say false names right here. So the person in my company said to me, Psycho Scott meet Psycho Angela, right? It was a lady in the company I had right at the time. Well, we accidentally copied in the client into that, and there was a couple other things said, nothing bad, it was nothing that bad, right? We had an argument, and that was it. We all say things and stuff like that, and they brought us in, and I'll never forget it, right? I was sitting at the table, and I got on really well with the director, he's a nice fella, and I just see there was something all right with him, just how he was looking at me and that, and I was like, oh no. So I comes in, and then he said he's got this paperwork out on the table, right? I'm wondering, what the hell is this? So Jordan, I don't think you realised that you copied his into the internal communications. Something just reacted in me, and I went, look, Simon, that's what he's doing. I said, Simon, look, what was said in there, it was at the height of the moment. I says, it was nothing really bad. I says, we felt like we were getting screwed over, you know, and it wasn't nothing really bad.
Yep.
He's like, Jordan, look, I think what we'll do is we'll just have a 6-week break and then we'll come back. Says, right, fair enough. We'll go for that. It was 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And I lost a lot of revenue in there, lot of revenue. And it was just one of the things I get caught in an email. So
Yep.
that was a sore one. That was a tough lesson to learn. Don't copy your clients into your emails.
Yeah, definitely double check and triple check.
Aye,
we had
100%.
one of our guys that worked for us that did that, and we had our guys on like commission. So if they were out doing work and they'd upsold, so we trained them in how to upsell. And the theory was that you were not allowed to upsell through bad intention. It was only if the client really needed something. So we trained them on it and we made it a competition. So they were all upselling, and then we had a point system. So they were all trying to beat each other to get these upsells, and then they were getting commission for it, obviously. And one of the guys in our company texted the internal chat and said, I've just left, and it was like a 30 grand upsell or something like that. This guy's absolutely in the bag. He's signing, and it's this and it's that. He sent it to the client.
Oh no! Oh wow!
And we said to him, listen, this is on you. You need to go back and you need to apologise and
Did he
just say
fix
that
it?
you were overexcited. He did, and I think the client saw the kind of funny side, because he's like, the guy that did this, he was young and he was overexcited and he loved getting sales over the line, but the clients absolutely loved him. They loved him.
Oh right, aye.
So I think he got away with it because of that. I think maybe if it was somebody else, maybe
Wasn't
not.
bad
but-
intention, just going, it's great, I've got a sale, I get that.
Like, don't ever send that to
Aye.
the client. But, you know, these things happen. It's part of
Yep.
business, isn't it? And
It
you live
is.
and learn. And you can look back in it and you can laugh. But,
Aye.
yeah, it's good to cover these things, you know, the mistakes. And I think when people see businesses turning over 7 figures and beyond, and it's like they've got it together. They know what they're doing. They're so experienced. And we're all still learning, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's like every single day is a learning curve, and you still make mistakes, and it's still the cash flow thing that you're trying to balance. So I think it's really important to point that out, isn't it?
It is. Do you know what? It's every day you're learning lessons, and I'm 6 years in now with the railway company. I've got a construction company as well in the UK, but you're constantly learning, and you have to constantly adapt to circumstances in the industries and pivot. And we used to do certain work that we don't do anymore because there's not really a market for it. So we've pivoted a lot of times, and I think you've got to be able to do that.
Definitely.
It's really tough having a business, especially in the UK actually.
Yep.
The analogy I use is the HMRC take you out in a boat in the middle of the ocean. They tie your hands behind your back and say, jump in. You know what I mean? Because they're tying your hands behind your back. Yeah, I say you're like a modern day slave because they're taking so much. Do you know what? They're the winners.
Yep.
No me. I'm the one putting up with the cash flow, the staff and the problems. It's me, no HMRC.
Yep.
And that was one of the main reasons of moving to Dubai. Was like, if the roads were great, if the healthcare was great, if the education was great, if all these things were good, then all right, you can see where the money's gone to. But not to make this political, because I'm not political at all, but I'm not bashing the UK either, because I love Scotland, I really do, and I love England, and I like Wales. I've got nothing against it at all. I love the heritage, I love the history, but it's not going in a good direction. And especially for business owners. In fact, one of my friends back home's got a coffee shop. We're talking about it today, and it's very difficult. The rates going up.
Yeah.
I mean, I seen a girl on Instagram today, and like it went from zero rates 20 years ago to now 6,500. I'm like, that's really tough in small businesses.
Yep.
So it's really difficult to make it in the UK and really build some kind of real wealth. And I just got up one day, I was sitting on my couch and I forget. I'm like, I'm done with it. Hate the weather. I don't like the direction that UK is going. The tax system's getting worse. And I thought, as a business owner, coming to Dubai when this is the hub, and my eyes have really opened up. I'm sure we'll get into this latterly, but my eyes have really opened up into like, this is the place for business. If you're a certain type of person, you've got a certain type of character, maybe I'm not saying it's me, but you can do really well here.
Definitely. That's a perfect starting point for the Dubai chat, because you've only been here 3 weeks.
Yep.
What's changed for you? What's been the biggest things that you've taken in? Because I know it's a whirlwind. I know
Aye.
you're just like a sponge, aren't you? Because you're learning to drive on the other side of the road, you're learning the culture,
Yeah.
you're learning your way about. Dubai feels massive when you're here, and the longer you're here, you realise it's actually pretty small.
Definitely.
So what's been the big sort of light bulb moments and learnings for you in the last 3 weeks?
Well, admittedly, I'd say this stage, the first week was hard because I've got a partner at home, I've got a dog at home, and I'm very close to my family too, so and friends.
Yeah.
So when you're leaving all that behind, and I'm coming out here myself, folk are going, you're crazy, especially when
big
there's a war
change.
going on. But I mean, I've been talking to you guys, like, and
Yeah.
it's not as bad as they say. You know, it's very like, so. One thing being out here, it's very safe.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the UAE, and in fact, the CEO at that EMA, the EMA group here, a construction firm. I actually just, when I was sitting out there listening to a podcast he was on, and he was saying, look, I think this just shows, know that Dubai's a business hub is excellent, but it's very secure.
Yeah.
Defence, like you wouldn't know like how good the army is here.
Absolutely.
So I think that just shows, and I think somebody was telling me about the crash in 2008 in Dubai. It just bounces back even stronger.
Definitely.
And I think the culture here is really strong. I love the strict. When I say strict rules, it's just you can't be an idiot.
It's consequences
Yeah.
to rules.
Aye, definitely. And if
It's,
the UK
it's like
had
you
that,
shouldn't be stealing, you shouldn't
Yeah.
be doing these things. It's like there are consequences here.
definitely.
That's why it's so safe. That's why the
100%.
people here are good. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all, but it's like
good.
it's that perception from people that maybe haven't been here before
Yeah.
or they worry about it. But
They do. I think they worry about like how strict the rules are, but it's a westernised expat community here,
Yep.
and the government have built it that way. And I think that for coming to Dubai, I've learned a lot. It's not even 3 weeks yet, but I feel like I've been here for 3 months. The amount of legwork I've been doing,
Yeah.
running about podcasts and meeting folk every single day. I'm trying to network, and
Yep.
not just for my own industry. I'll be touching this later. My first deal here is just about to be
Absolutely.
finalised, so that'll be really interesting. But I was trying to figure out what is it I'm going to do over here. Came here to work, to really, really work, not for a holiday.
Yeah.
I'm not a beach guy to sit on the beach. I've not sat on a beach once since I've been here. So it's like I really just want to work, network, and I've realised this is a place to be for that. If you've got that kind of drive. An analogy I was speaking to Stephen about was, sorry, not an analogy, a story rather, was Binman came over here a couple of years ago.
Wow.
And he's a top seller in the Jumeirah Village Circle for houses. I'm like, I am not bashing any job whatsoever, but for a guy that just came for a normal job, he's obviously got something really good about him, maybe a really likeable guy if he's doing that well. But for me, I've had a business experience for the last 6 years, which I think gives me an advantage because that is a lot tougher than having a job.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a lot more lessons to be learned in having a business for 6 years. So I felt if guys like that can make it, then why can't I, essentially?
Absolutely. One of the biggest things that I noticed when I came over here was the mindset of people, the energy, the fact that people just want to introduce you to other people
Yeah.
and kind of help. So for me, we did the same as you. The first 3-4 weeks, we were not in. We were out meeting people, getting invited to birthdays and dinners and brunches and coffees and
Yeah.
events. And it's really easy to meet people out here.
Definitely.
As opposed to the UK, I think people are a lot more open. And I've said that so many times in the UK, if you'd met somebody for 5 minutes and they said we should probably do dinner on Friday night, you think it's a bit weird.
Aye.
I don't think so. But over
Aye.
here, it's really, really normal. You speak to someone for
Definitely.
5 minutes and the next thing you're going out for dinner on the Saturday night. Do you
And
think
that is
that makes a big difference?
Oh, I think there's definitely a difference between the UK and here. I think everybody here they want to meet new people. They're interested in people. It's not just the selfish all about them. It's like folk want to know who are you, what you've done, and why are you here.
Yeah.
Because it's like you've moved country. It's quite a big thing to do. So I've realised that networking is everything here.
Yeah.
Your network, because your net worth, there's a lot of people say, and that is very, very true,
Yeah.
especially in Dubai. And I can't thank you and Stephen enough because I've knew you guys since 2019.
I know, it's crazy.
I know, did some work together, and then we've done consulting, construction work back there, and I've done your courses and stuff. So
Exactly.
it's weird that we were sitting in 2019, 7 years ago, at a Richard Dixon
Event.
and Stephen was sitting next to me, and then all of a sudden we're sitting here today. So it's your network who you're speaking to. And if I
Totally.
went to that event, I wouldn't be sitting here today with you guys probably.
It's funny, isn't it?
Isn't it?
You've just got to say yes to these things,
do.
especially out here. Well, obviously we did that in the UK,
Aye.
but here you've just got to.
You have, even if like there's times where I'm like, oh, can't be bothered going to this. Like there was an event the other night. It was actually
Yep.
every time you go, it ends up you're glad you did it. You met
Yep.
somebody or it's a good night. So the networking's huge here. You need to go out and speak to people. And what I've realised is that it can be expensive, depending on your lifestyle as well. And it'll kind of weed out the kind of week in a sense here because it can be expensive for you staying in nice places and that. And I've always been the believer of, let's say, going first class and you maybe not be able to afford it. I remember Donald Trump talking about a story about this actually. So Donald Trump said he had a very good friend and he used to always go first class and that. And he's like, why do you always do that? And at the time he didn't have a really successful business yet. And he says, it's just put myself in that place. I'm going to get it. And it's true. And I've done that. Like there's things I've maybe not been able to afford, but I'm like, I'm going to push towards that. Whether it be business class or private years ago, it's like I'm going to push to get it. I should not be spending that money on that.
Yep.
But even getting back to a car, manifestation,
Yep.
it's real. It's definitely real. There's some kind of alternate universe out there that these vibrations and that, it's just real. I mean, you definitely know a lot about it. And it's like, for me, I remember the car that I always wanted, I sat in it for 3 years in the dealership, just holding it, and somebody says, feel the leather, that's the term. And I did that for 3 years and then it happened. And at that time, I didn't know how it was going to happen. My last house I had in the UK, beautiful big place in the air. And I remember me and my ex-partner going down to see it when it was under construction, 2022. Oh my God, we'd love to live here. I'm like, there's no way I could afford that. There's no way. And then a year later, somehow it happened.
It's amazing, isn't it? I love what you've just said there, and I think it's so true, isn't it? And I've got this belief that you've got to step into those bigger shoes.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to become somebody, so I call it identity, if you want a higher level identity, you need to step into that first.
Definitely.
And then everything else catches up. And before I even knew what this work was, Stephen and I were doing this from 18. I know you know this story as well, but the sitting outside the big Cala house at 18 and you're on minimum wage, and it's like, there's no plan, you don't know how you're going to do it. You just know you're going to do it. And we always maintained that approach. So we always moved into the house that was just slightly out with the budget. And you catch up and you grow and you experience that, and you don't want to lose that luxury. And I remember those business class stories and first class stories as well. A guy called Steve Harvey, an American guy.
Oh, I know the guy you're talking about.
He's amazing to listen to. And he was saying, if you fly first class, it's very, very difficult to go back to flying economy again.
Yep, that's right.
And it's so true, because you've had a taste of that experience and that environment. And when we fly business all the time now because of that. And the amount of people that we've met at that bar, on that plane, the conversations that we've had, and it's just through putting yourself in a different environment.
100%.
So I am totally with you. I know we've got sneaky plans maybe on the private jet stuff we'll chat about later.
Definitely.
But this is all the things, this is the nice balance that, we've spoke about, the sleepless nights, the cash flow, losing trust and things like that, and making all the mistakes with the emails and the people, but this is the nice side. This is the reward of business, where you get to look after your family. I know that's really, really big for you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And talking about the experiences of first class and being able to come to Dubai, but it doesn't stop. It's like, you're still, a lot of people think you come over here and it's like you said, you sit on the beach. It doesn't stop. It's when that entrepreneurial spirit's inbuilt in you. This is just a playground.
Yeah.
This is a place where you're like, these are my people. I can't wait to get out and meet more of them, go to more events.
That's it.
Have dinner with these amazing views, meet better people. And it's just a compound effect. So I think there's definitely more opportunity over here. Would you agree?
Definitely. Your analogy of the playground for the business folk, that's exactly what this place is.
Yeah.
And I've quickly learned that if you've got a business, you really want to be here, see if you can come up, tax reasons, but also the networking. I mean, there's just mega deals. You look all around you, there's building going on everywhere.
Yep.
It's just not like that in the UK. I'm not bashing it at all, but you really want to push on and you really want to do well, I would say this, and currently 2026 is the place to be.
Yeah, it's definitely a place that encourages people to do more and be more. And I know we've had that conversation that when you're in the UK, you feel like you're doing quite well, and you've got a bit of success, and you know you've achieved a lot, and you come here and you're just this wee tiny
nobody.
person.
You're absolutely nobody. Aye.
It's so good though, isn't
Aye.
it? To grow into that.
Definitely. And one thing I've realised here, like cars, there's Lamborghinis and that, but nobody cares what car you drive. I don't even have a car.
No.
I'm just taxiing about everywhere. But it's like, when I first came here, it was a Sunday morning. I met you guys, wasn't it, for lunch?
That's right.
And you were telling me, I'm sure you won't mind a bit, like there's drivers here
Yep.
and there's maids, and I'm like, no way, no way. My mind was blown. But it's like, in Scotland, that's not a normal thing, having maids or drivers or that. But from a business point of view, you really need that to then go and spend the time doing what you need to do in your business. So it's a great thing that out here. And just off the back of that, I would like to get a driver. That is the next thing in my mind, actually, that a driver. Maybe no, I made you up. I'm still doing mine. No, wait, I got something to do the ironing today, but I'm doing mine cleaning and that, right? I'm still doing that. But the driver is a really good thing because it can be busy out there on the roads.
Yep.
So, I mean, you could be stuck out there for hours potentially. I've not seen it as busiest yet because people are still kind of coming back.
That's right.
But I think a driver's a fantastic thing here.
Oh, definitely. It's a massive time saver and very normal over here as well.
I was just so shocked when you told me about that, about drivers and maids. I was like, right, I'm in the right place now.
Definitely. I think when you get to a point in life and business, you understand that the most important thing is time.
Definitely.
The more time that you can buy back, the better you're going to enjoy your life, the more successful you can become. So I think it's very, very easy to live over here where you can buy back a lot of your time with certain things. So it's a massive benefit, but I'm pretty sure we'll see you maybe a driver soon.
Oh, 100%. We top that on. It might be me, I might be the driver. I don't know.
So we're talking about it being an easy place to live and a place that encourages you to do more and be more. And you were chatting even about your kind of health journey that you've got a new kind of found focus over here. So chat to me about that.
Definitely. Like back in the UK, in fact, this is one of the best things about being in Dubai actually when you've got a UK business is the time difference.
Yeah.
So the 3 hours gap, I think it's usually 4, but is it?
Yeah, it changes. So when the clocks change in the UK, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4 hours.
Well, the now it's been 3, that's what I've experienced, even having the 3 hours. So I got, first thing I do in the morning is get up and go to the gym. It's 1 minute from my room. I've timed it. Right down the elevator and walked right into the gym. So I'd probably say I've been at the gym nearly every day, almost every day, no every day. The day I ran a 7K, lifted some weights, and I think with Dubai, a lot more people look after their health here.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to be good looking now. It's like UK folk don't look after their health as much, and I've definitely been a part of that. At home I didn't really train as much as I should have. But here, it's almost like just a part of life.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get healthier and just look better, and seeing just being in the sunshine.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, it just makes you feel better and makes you want to go to the gym more. So coming here with just a health point of view physically, I'm in better shape than I was in the UK, and it's like it's just natural just to go down to the gym in the morning. If nobody's bothering you, you're just going to do your thing. So
exactly,
I think just by moving here, that's been a good impact, because again, your business gets better if you're
of course
mentally and physically better. Your business gets better, and you're able to go and find more opportunities too.
Exactly. So on the back of the opportunities then, I know you're not going to say too much at the moment, but you've got big plans out here.
Aye, definitely.
You're out, you're networking, you're looking at business deals.
Yeah, definitely.
Things are going to be coming to fruition soon, hopefully.
Yeah, very soon. And the thing is, like when I came here, I just wanted to know what's the best industries. So I've spoke to loads of different people in different industries, and and again, it's really good that folk will sit down with you for an hour. You say, like, can we meet? They'll do it. Like back home, it's maybe not like that. It kind of fades away. But here, they will actually meet you. So I really like that bit about it. And I've asked so many questions about folk in their industries, and I don't want to say what industry it is yet, but I think I've picked one, and the market's there. It's definitely there for it. And I think the business we're going to have is going to be a disruptor in that market as well. So
Amazing.
we're going to be competing hopefully at the high end level.
Very exciting. Hope to hear more about that soon.
Yeah.
And the business back home then, so you're operating the
Yeah.
business in the UK from here?
Yep. So I was really fortunate. I brought in a non-exec director into my business.
Amazing.
Somebody, and do you know what? He was for a corporate kind of background. I was merely a startup guy. Just let's get this off the ground and go.
Yep.
So it's like you're having somebody for a bit of different perspective and building systems and processes and strategies. Where I wasn't really like that. I was just like, right, just crack on. I'll just get it done somehow. Somebody's kind of built that. So somebody, the non-exec now, has built these good processes and systems in the business. It's been an expensive. It's been an expensive kind of learning
Yep.
curve for the processes and systems, but latterly I'm sitting here today.
Exactly.
I've got a really good team at home, and it is thankfully the systems that non-exec put in the business. And because I was a wee bit worried that Jordan's away to Dubai and all this kind of stuff, and might affect my business back home, because there is things that have affected my business that I've done in my personal life, like buy a car, believe it or not, bought a car, I lost work.
Right.
So there was businesses that seen me started to doing all right for myself, and then they've only given me as much work.
Wow.
Which is kind of sad, because in Dubai that would not happen.
What car was it? Come on.
Oh, I don't want to even say it. It's embarrassing.
Come on. What car
Is
is
that
it?
red one I had? It was the red one I had.
Is it the wee mini?
Aye, it was that one. Everybody was jealous as into that mini. It was
We'll
worth
leave it
about
there.
400 grand. It was made of gold.
We'll leave it to the imagination.
Aye. So it was like, folk was, they got jealous and stuff like that. And I mean, that car specifically, folk tried to set fire to it. I was just sitting outside, me and my partner was outside an Italian restaurant in Glasgow, a nice bit. I came out, somebody chucked a lit cigarette into the car. The window was done like that.
Wow.
I'm like, that wouldn't happen in Dubai. Just would never happen here. Folks stuck chewing gum to it, and I lost business for it. So it's like, again, that wouldn't happen in Dubai. And now I'm kind of learning that nobody really cares about cars or that here. It's not a big thing, or it's about who you are, what value you bring to others and stuff like that, and if you're a good person too. So I feel that now this place is set for hopefully a person like me.
Definitely. So you've got big plans, and we were chatting last week, funnily enough, on with a little yacht night for your birthday, didn't we?
It was great. It was great. Your idea.
Bit of a different birthday for you.
It was.
And we had a nice conversation on there, and I just loved what you said. So you've got a big why, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's never really been about monetary terms and getting the business to a certain stage. You've got a bigger why.
Yeah, definitely. Like, even when I started the company, it wasn't even like, oh, we're going to hit £1 million in revenue. It was nothing like that. Just go and do it, crack on. But the kind of big reason was, like, I'm very close to mum at home, and I was like, you know, now coming out here, I was like, I'd love to retire her.
Yep.
She's an absolute grafter, and it's maybe where I've got my genetics for that point. My dad's a grafter as well, don't get me wrong too. So, but in terms of mum, she had a bad fall. I think I'd mentioned that at the beginning of the podcast. She broke her legs, and I'm like, I don't want her going up in the roofs again. I mean, it could happen right now. She'll probably be in a roof somewhere right now, actually. I'm like, I don't want her to be at that risk.
Yeah.
So I'd love to, but the next couple of years, that's kind of goal to retire her, bring her out here.
That's
so
amazing.
That's a kind of top goal, I'd say.
Amazing. Do you think everybody needs a proper why in order to become successful?
It definitely helps. It pushes you, like that relationship I had when I was, I don't want to say the number, she figures out when I was younger, my why was to prove that person wrong.
Yeah.
And if that never happened, I wouldn't be here. So I think definitely folk have got loads of different whys, obviously, but I think to really push on a why is extremely important.
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel like you have any regrets in business, or do you feel that every part of that is a learning and helps you progress onto the next part?
Good question. I've thought about that with the regret side. I know a lot of folks say they live their life without regrets, but I definitely regret doing certain things. Definitely regret it, because if I didn't, I'd have X amount more money or whatever the reason may be. I've probably had a lot more failures than I have had wins. In business, actually, I mean, I've opened up English branches that didn't work. I had to shut it down for reasons. I've had a lot of failures, so it's one of the things that you could regret it, but it's what you said at the end there, it's a lesson as well. They're good lessons, and I think it makes it better for you when you're down the line in business. You go, right, I've noticed something that happened to me 10 years ago, and I'm not going to let that happen again. So you learn, because I'd like to say that you have bigger businesses as you go further down the line. So
Exactly.
the mistakes then amplify financially at the higher levels. And I'd like to make the mistakes now.
Yeah.
Right, okay, but I've survived them. I've made a lot of mistakes, but and some no through no fault of their own. But it's like you would rather them have it at this level than now, whilst I'm still young. And then when the bigger businesses come, then I don't make the same mistakes again.
Exactly. You speak so openly about that, and I absolutely love it, because I do think there's this perception that once you get to, for example, your stage that you're at in the UK, that, you know, that's it. You talk about the good stuff, you talk about the success, the cars. You don't really speak about that. You're actually really focused on the mistakes, the learnings, the journey, the process. And I just think that's a massive inspiration for people, because there'll be people out there at the moment that are in that difficult stage where they're maybe making mistakes, or their fingers have been burned, or they're questioning themselves. And it's stories like yours that people listen to, and it gives them that desire to keep growing and keep going in that motivation, but it's like, oh, it's not just me. And I think that's what's wrong. There's too many people that just talk about all the good and all the success. It's part of it, isn't it? And we can't avoid it.
Aye. There's a caveat to it, because as much as I've had a great life and that business has gave me a really good life, the pressures of that business, like, it never goes away in your mind. Like, I've tried to go, like, can I just sit here for a minute? Even in my relationships, it's affected, because I'm constantly working, and they're like, can we not just watch this film or that? My missus could be doing her nails, and I'm sitting there going, how am I going to make payroll this week?
Yeah.
It's a different world, and it's like there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of struggles that the folk just don't see, and everybody says that, but it is so true. There's so many struggles that you go through, and it's like you make mistakes, and you've got to learn by the lessons of that. But these mistakes could be fatal. Touch wood, they haven't been for me. The mistakes I've made, and I've managed to survive with the skin of my teeth a few times. But I would say entrepreneurship. I'd like to say I'm an entrepreneur. It's not that it's a fancy word or anything like that. I think it just kind of matches who I am. Like, I'll sell that cup. As long as it's moral and legal, I don't care what it is, I'll sell it. I don't care if it's a train track or a house. I don't care what it is. So I think that maybe just that's the distinction, that you would just see any opportunity and you'd take it. You know, maybe as an employee, you would just think differently. And there's nothing right. In fact, I'd even say that it's about your curse, because I say normal person, just to go back to employee, they're 9 to 5 and they crack on and everything else. Well, I'm constantly thinking, right, how do I do this better? Or what about that business? Or what about this? It never turns off. And that's definitely a caveat to having a business. You're just constantly thinking.
Definitely. Do you know, I remember one of the wealthiest business owners that we met. We were only in our 20s. So this guy was like a hero to us. He was like, we worshipped him because he was just so successful, so down to earth, was willing to share all his knowledge. And I remember he said something to us in the very beginning that stuck with me forever. And he said, anybody can run a business when it's going good.
Yep.
Only the true entrepreneurial people can run the businesses when it's going bad.
Yep.
And it's so true, because that's how you learn, that's how you grow, that's where you find your resilience when you're in the thick of it. And I know people that have been in businesses for 10 years and it's just, you know, they've got really good contracts or they've had a really good team and it all goes. And then they get to that point where something really bad happens and they don't know how to handle it. They've not built up that resilience and that experience. So I do think it's really, really important, like you said, to go through all that at the beginning and build that person. I always say as well, like, if somebody came to me at 21 and said, I want to have a multi-million turnover business, if I handed them a 5 million turnover business, how long would it last?
Aye, no long.
It just wouldn't, right?
Aye.
So you need to be the person that runs the 5 grand business, the person that runs the 50 grand business,
Definitely.
the 100 grand business, the million business, because it's who you become on the way,
100%.
isn't it? And you just cannot skip that. And I think that's what people who are starting in business or who are 2-3 years in need to hear. You can't go around that. You can't, quantum leap it. You can't just jump to the next part.
No.
You've got to be in the thick of it to learn it. Would you agree?
Definitely. And I put a post up on my Instagram with this earlier on in the week, and I've got nothing against CEOs or MDs or that, but you're not the same as somebody that's founded something for nothing.
Yeah.
It's not the same, and I'm not bashing MD here, but it's just, you're not the same person. Just sitting at your bed and going, oh my God, how am I going to make this 50 grand tomorrow?
Yeah.
But it's like a CEO of that, the company's like get the money in the bank, and that is
Yeah.
just, it's not the same. So for
It's
me,
very different, isn't
it is
it?
very different. As a business owner and employee, it's different mindsets, and it's just such a hard thing to run a business for scratch and getting to the top level. But as you said there, you have to run it for that $5,000 to the 5 million, because you see all the different levels and the different problems that you get.
Yep.
So I think it's you really, if I could go back, if somebody goes like that to me, your dad had a massive successful company, then you were into it, I wouldn't want that, because you don't learn the lessons. Or,
Yeah.
oh no, there's nobody, it could be dad, could be uncle, could be anybody.
Yep.
The lessons that you learn, because you're the one that started it all, you're the one that's
Yeah.
cash flowed it. So it's just you're a different human being, I think.
Totally agree. I think there's that almost like a wee protective bubble there when
Yeah.
you're kind of something that's already established, or you've got a protector that can put a cash injection in,
That's
or
it.
it's totally different,
Yeah.
isn't it? And then there's the flip side that I see as well, and it's so funny because it's such a balance. So I know a real estate guy over here who's done exceptionally well, and there's a lot of other guys who are doing well enough, but they point at him and they say, oh, that's just because he's got a billionaire investor. And my attitude to that is, he still got it.
That's it, aye.
He still got
He
it.
still got it,
And
aye.
it's like, so is he lucky, or did he go out and build that relationship, ask for that intro, spend time with that guy, deliver,
Yeah.
do what he says that he does? Because if this guy's a billionaire, he's not going to be messing about with people that, aren't good enough and
Aye,
don't
that's
do what they
right.
say they're going to do. So there's a balance there, isn't there,
Yeah.
of like, people think he's lucky, but he still got it.
No, that's the thing, like a billionaire is not going to entertain you and give you money if he thinks you're an idiot. It's just not going to happen. So that way, whoever that is cultivated and built a relationship to say, look, could you invest with me and stuff
Yep.
like that? And listen, there's times where folk will give folk a chance.
Yeah.
But there's a good story. It was what's that massive tech company? Begins with an N. Nvidia.
All right,
Nvidia,
okay.
right? So I think it's Jen Seng or Jen Huang or something, the guy that's CEO. So he tells a story. It's quite a good story. Somebody should YouTube it. Where he got investments like 5 million quid. It was like back in like the 90s or something like that, years and years ago. Nvidia.
Yeah.
The product they had, they'd built wasn't working. I think it was for Nintendo actually or something
Okay.
like that, right? So Nintendo gave them 5 million or something. It wasn't actually working. It was, and if that didn't work, the whole company was gone. So that guy Jen went to the MD or whoever it is in Nintendo, and he said, "Look, this isn't working. But I need another 5 million or something." And he's like, "What do you mean it's not working? You need another 5?" And he says, "Look, but the business is going to go if we don't get this other 5 million." And I know it sounds really stupid, and I'd have went, "No chance. You're not getting another 5. That's it, done."
Yep.
The guy gave him the 5 million or what it was, and then look at Nvidia now, one of the top companies up there with SpaceX and that. So going back to what I meant was that folk can give you a chance,
Yeah.
and you do need a bit of luck, but I do believe you do make your own luck as well.
And you've got to deliver.
You've got to deliver. no doubt
Otherwise,
about
that
it.
opportunity just
It
disappears, as
slips,
we know.
Aye, 100%. It really does.
Brilliant. To finish off, Jordan, anybody that's in business and struggling at the moment, or anybody that's thinking about starting a business, what would your advice be? Where's a good starting point? What do they need to focus on? I know this is so vast, isn't it? What can you nail it down to?
And summarise it, you're going to start a business, I'd say definitely try it. Whether it fails or not, and who cares, you'll learn some lessons.
Absolutely.
You can lose money and you can always get it back.
Yep.
You know, and so I'd say definitely try it. If you've got an itch for something, and the thing I'm about to do, I did have an itch for
Yep.
a lot of years ago. And it's like, you only live once as far as we know. You might as well give it a shot.
Yep.
And you can do things with no money, because I essentially didn't have any money when I started mine. Or you can somehow figure it out. If you really, really, really want it, then you can figure out a way to get it. So I would say, give it a shot if you've had that itch, whether you're 40 or 50. In fact, something I quickly seen last night was KFC. I think he was 69 or something when
right.
he started that. And
That's right.
he had loads of no's and no's. The guy was 69 or something when he started that. So I think you might as well just give it a shot anyways. And who cares if you fail?
Absolutely. Brilliant advice. Amazing.
Thanks.
Jordan, what a pleasure. Can't
Thank
wait
you.
to see
Thanks
this
for
one
having
come
me.
out. And thanks again.
No worries. Thank you.